Hello everyone, in this video I'll be showing you a Death Domain Cleric multiclass with the Spore Druid in Baldur's Gate 3's patch 8. This is a Death Romancer, if you will. Basically, you get the ability to cast Necrotic spells, ignore resistances to that, because pretty much everything ignores Necrotic resistance, and then we also got a bunch of summons from the Spore Druid. So we're going to start here with the Death Domain Cleric. Now, for the special cantrip, I'll always select Bone Chill here, because this lets you go back to here and actually select the Bursting Sinew and Toll the Dead. And we also want to have Sacred Flame, because sometimes, like, shadows that we fight are immune to necrotic damage, so that we can't actually hit them. But they're vulnerable to radiant damage, so they'll take double damage from this. Now, for deity personal preference there, ability score, 16 dexterity, 14 constitution, 10 intelligence, 16 wisdom, and 10 charisma works well here. You can also use the dexterity gauntlets and dump your dexterity, because there's no perfect gloves for them. So if you want to go with that and boost up your constitution a little more, you could also do that. It's entirely your call there. Now, as we continue to level up here, I'll be going over the best options. I'll show off gear options as well, and then we'll show off combat. Now, level 2, we get the Touch of Death. So whenever you hit a creature with a melee attack, you can use your Channel Divinity to deal extra necrotic damage, which will ignore resistances. And we got this awesome Staff of Cherished Necromancy here, which will also do an initial 1d4 of necrotic damage. So we're actually pumping out quite a bit of necrotic damage. At level 3, I guess I should show off the spells that we want. We'll also get ourselves the Ray of Enfeeblement and Blindness for the spells there, which are kind of nice. Now, I recommend having Inflict Wounds, because we can use our Touch of Death with this, as it'll actually count as a melee attack, because it's a melee spell. We also want to have Command. I also like having Guiding Bolt, because again, a 46 radiant damage, which can be doubled if there's a shadow, which is also nice mid to early game. Bless is also extremely useful in the early game, but you can also take it off if you want, and Sanctuary is good too. We're going to want to have Hold Person and Spiritual Weapon for spells as well. Bonus action Spiritual Weapon. The Maul can actually daze targets, and when they're dazed, we have an easier time landing our commands. Now for the next level spell, Produce Flame can be good, or even Guidance, your personal preference. I always recommend having someone with Guidance on your team. And then for the next level spell, we can go back and take our Bless or our Sanctuary being extremely effective for just keeping the team alive. And for our feat, I recommend just boosting the Wisdom here, as we're only getting 2 feats, we may as well take our Wisdom to max. Level 5 gives us the Create or Animate Dead spell, which is awesome, because then we can summon in some undead anytime that we have corpses around. And Vampiric Touch, which counts as a melee spell, but also it gives us health back and ignores resistances, so it's actually pretty decent. So then we also get ourselves Spirit Guardians, which is probably the best concentration to hold in the game. Glyph of Warding is also quite nice, and we can also swap off and take like Mass Healing Word, because we're going to get high level spells. We also can prepare these at any time, so not a massive deal, but the Druid gets its own spells, we get our own too. Now, level 6, we get Inescapable Destruction. The spells we cast ignore resistance to necrotic damage, making our spells much more offensive focused, because we can actually just straight up ignore anyone that's resisting that damage type, which, as I mentioned, is a lot of them. We'll take our Sanctuary back here at this level, and once we pass level 6, we got our subclass feature. Although getting Blight for the 8d8 necrotic damage is nice, and also since it's Staff of Cherished Necromancy gives us Heightened Necromancy, that's also quite nice. However, going with the Spore Druid is going to be our best choice. Now, Shillelagh is actually really nice, because we can actually make our staff, this one here, magical, and then we'll use our Wisdom for our attack rolls, which is great. Thorn Whip pulls enemies closer to us. If you want poison, you can get the Poison Spray there. Now, for the spells we'll be taking from here, Thunder Wave's a really nice one. We'll go with the healing spells we haven't taken. Ice Knife, Fog Cloud can blind targets, which can be pretty useful. Long Strider is also good, because it'll increase your team's movement speed, so you could also go with that. But at level 2, this is when we get to choose our subclass, and we're going to go with the Circle of Spores, which gives us Halo of Spores as a reaction, does 1d8 necrotic damage, ignoring resistances. And we also got Symbiotic Entity, dealing additional 1d6 necrotic damage when we have it. And cast Halo of Spores with double damage. You also get Bone Chill for free, which we already have. Now, for the next level spell, Fairy Fire can also be kind of nice to take. So even Entangle can be pretty good, creating a Vine Surface, which will slow them down. Although it does require concentration. We don't really want to have concentration, because we have Spirit Guardians to use. Now, for our level 3 spells, we get some better ones here. So we get the Spike Growth, which is amazing. Moonbeam can also be nice, but it uses a concentration, so something to keep in mind. There's a glitch we can use to make a permanent Flame Blade, which I got on my channel if you want to check that out. Heat Metal is another nice one, but it also uses a concentration. Just be mindful of that. We can only have one concentration up at a time, and Spirit Guardians is preferred. At level 4, we get our Deep Rathe form. We also get another cantrip here. And we get ourselves another choice of spell. Flaming Orb or Flaming Spear also uses concentration. Same with Pass Without Trace. Like, a lot of these do require concentration, unfortunately. So just something to keep in mind. Now, at this level, we'll take up our Wisdom all the way to 20 there. And then for the level 5, we get an improved wild shapes. We make another attack in wild shape form. We get some better spells. We also get animate dead ×2. So we got a lot of those. We got some good ones because we can take, this is another concentration, but it's good damage, and we can continually call it down. Plant growth, concentration free crowd control. Sleet Storm's also nice because it stops concentrations, but it does require it too. Something to keep in mind. But for this level here, level 6 is when we get our best benefit. We get the Fungal Infestation, raise a mildewed, mold encrusted zombie from a corpse. We have 4 Fungal Infestation charges. We also get the Owlbear form, so if things get bad, we can transform into that or the Panther. So we got options. Now we got all the level 3 spells we can select. You can go with, I guess, Speak with Animals there, because that's a nice spell to have too if you don't have the potions available. Now, what this ends up looking like in terms of gear. There's a few really good options for gear. So you can see the staff that I'm wearing, this glowing Staff of Cherished Necromancy, does additional necrotic damage. And it works with Shillelagh, or Shillelagh, depending on how you pronounce it. It also gives us heightened necromancy, creatures at disadvantage when saving throws against your necromancy spells. And the Life Essence Harvest. When the wearer kills a hostile creature with a spell, they greatly absorb its Life Essence. And the Life Essence will let us cast a necromancy spell for free, so we can go with like something like our Vampiric Touch. Which is kind of a nice one to have for the extra damage that we'll be dealing to regain our own health. And then you can also go with even something like a Cure Wounds, upwards of 80 damage, kind of nice too. So basically with this, we want to be raising corpses as much as possible. So the Fungal Infestation lets us do that. So we're going to show off what all this ends up looking like. But I guess for the other gear, Armor of the Spore Keeper is huge. So this gives us a bonus to our spell save DC. Whenever we do necrotic damage, we get an extra damage. And whenever we're in our symbiotic form, we'll get additional benefits. We can raise haste spores, which gives us haste if we stand in it, which is massive. As one of the Gemini gloves, targeting allies can deal an additional target. If you got it, the Hellas gloves is probably still the best because this will add additional damage. If we were to do it in a melee attack, you can see their additional fire damage. Even the reviving hands can be nice, giving the target blade ward whenever we heal them, which we are a healer at the end of the day. We can do some radiating orb stuff too if you wanted to. Like, there is a few different options that we got. But I still think the Gemini gloves and Helldusk gloves are the best. This gives us a better spell save DC, and it also gives us a fire attack. So we got a few different offensive choices there if we want. But also reviving hands does work nice too for the blade ward. Now the Circle of Bones, allied undead within 6 meters are resistant to physical damage type, and we get a free cast of Create Undead or Animate Dead. I also like the Crypt Lord ring. If you get that in Act 3, it gives you free Create Undead, so we get another summon. This is a pretty good summoner. Viconia's Walking Fortress, Hellride Lombo for the +3 to initiative, and the Evasive Shoes for more armor class alongside all that. So what this ends up looking like in combat. Now to start off, we always want to be in our symbiotic entity form, which has some cool attack animations as you can see here. So whenever we're casting this, it'll give us temporary health and allow us to use some special abilities, which you can see as well from here. We got our Bitterbang Spores, so this is going to give us additional poison damage. Tin Mask Spores, which can befuddle creatures. And then we also got ourselves Haste Spores, which is the best. And it's a bonus action. Hasting yourself as a bonus action is crazy. So then we also got our Fungal Infestation to bring up undead from corpses, so that's also quite nice. And what this ends up looking like in terms of our combat is, we'll start with our Spirit Guardians here. You got a radiant damage, or you can use the necrotic version, which we're going to use because we'll deal additional damage with this. And it's actually kind of nice because we also got from our armor, it'll add additional 1 damage to it, which is cool. So I guess to start off, we'll use a spell like our Inflict Wounds here, which is not that bad damage. It ignores resistances again, so we can hit decently hard with it. Then we also got our Touch of Death, which can apply additional damage onto it and gives this cool animation look here. So we did some damage there. I did that and it took them out. The extra damage was enough. But we got our nice Spirit Guardians there to help out. So we want to be using those as much as possible and trying to get as many people hit by it as possible too. We lost our symbiotic entity form really quickly there because I just got blasted with attacks. So we'll bring that back up. And then we can go run around Beyblade style, dealing that necrotic damage on all of our, every time that we move into melee range of a target. So you can see there, it's actually kind of nice with what you can do because all that extra damage is pretty useful. That did use up our action there, unfortunately. But then what's cool is we got our haste spores here, which we can use to then apply haste to ourselves. Just be mindful where you put it because anyone's going to want to try and steal this. So we got our haste spores here, which gives us another action. Kind of funny basically, since we already got haste up, this doesn't actually give us extra haste, unfortunately. So might not have been the best idea to put that down there, but that's, I guess, part of this. Now the thing is, with our haste spores, we can actually since we got our Spirit Guardians here, anyone that tries to come towards us is going to get hit. But that just gave Shadowheart her extra action there, so she can be pretty useful too alongside us. And obviously your entire team can go jump into this here to get the extra action. And that there is what's nice about it, is they run into us and then they get hit with that Spirit Guardians, which is super nice. And it's difficult terrain, so that's in itself is really nice. And they continue to keep getting hit by it. So on our turn, everyone around us just took the Spirit Guardians necrotic damage too. So that's nice. We just gotta be mindful, since we don't have a lot of spells that don't require concentration. We gotta be mindful, like we can't use our Vampiric Touch unless the Spirit Guardians ends up dropping. But if we get attacked a few times and lose Spirit Guardians, that's not a bad way to regain some health. So we'll go around. We do got upcasting, so that's something like Inflict Wounds is gonna be one of our actually strongest spells, believe it or not. 39, and we got the Touch of Death there, which we don't need to use, but on any target that's, you know, not like that target there, we don't need to upcast this. We can probably do like a level 2 or level 3 spell slot on this. And then if it doesn't take them out, we have the Touch of Death to finish them off. See, that was just enough to finish them, so we don't have to use that again, because that's an additional potential 29 extra damage, which is really nice. So yeah. And we also got our Shillelagh here, which we can use to imbue our staff with, so that's good too. Now, something funny is the Gust of Wind spell, we can knock this target away, but you can see there, it will remove the clouds, so we don't actually want to do that. And we skipped our turn, but they jumped through our Spirit Guardians and ended up taking enough damage there, so that was good. Yeah, the best thing about Spirit Guardians is just the crowd control that it brings, and having it ignore resistances is nice. We also could have upcast our Spirit Guardians too, which would have been nice just because the additional damage on it is pretty useful. But of all our spells, Inflict Wounds is honestly our best damaging option, which is kind of funny. But we do got some other spells. Now, this isn't meant to be like super meta. It's still just, you know, a mixed multi-class build, which does have its limitations, obviously, but it's not bad for what it is. Like, this target here has a bit more health, so we're going to use a level 4 spell slot on them, which will hopefully take them out. And it missed, of course. So I will use that again. And we got our Touch of Death to finish them off. That was more than enough, so perfect. We have one target left, and we'll bring them towards us by running backwards like this. And I got him with the Sonic Backlash, but you can see we actually were able to manage our health there, which was nice. We didn't lose it. We only lost the temporary health at the start. We do have other options like our plant growth here. This is great if you have a if you don't have a crowd control option up. This will quarter movement speed, so people are moving slowly through it. I didn't get to show, but fungal zombies are a big component of this. I was more so focused on the attacking form. They only have 9 health, but they're great because with these, they're going to draw aggro away from you, and they also just go around attacking as well. And with our crown, they have the undead fortitude, keeping them alive. We only have 4 summons though, so it's something to keep in mind. We have 4 of these fungal zombies, but they're nice because they just help out with overall combat. Now, just for fun, we can also, if you have a free cast, you can get yourself a maxed out Spirit Guardian. So we can cast that all the way up, 68 of necrotic damage, ignoring resistances. That's not too bad if I do say so myself. So that's a not bad concentration hold, and then we can go ahead. What's also cool is you got the Halo Spores. I didn't even get to show that either, but we want to start things off in style. We got that double bone chill, so we can hit 2 targets with that nice damage there. So it'll also give you a critical hit roll too. So we bone chilled both of them, perfect. And now we're gonna show off the zombies and what the zombies can do in a good fight. So yeah, we got our Touch of the Death being obviously one of our most offensive skills, but we also got Halo Spores there. So I'm just gonna go up. We have a lot of level 2 spell slots, so I'm gonna burn one of those on here. And the Spirit Guardians did 25 damage. I couldn't even get in to use the spell because Spirit Guardians just hit so hard. So I'm just a simple spell like Spirit Guardians can carry massive work for you guys. Even the fungal zombies, although they just have a slam attack, 2d6 plus 3, not crazy, but hey, you can inflict them with the crawling gnaw here, which basically whenever they attack, they're going to raise another zombie as well. But the zombie's a newborn zombie, so it loses its it loses 1 damage per turn. But you can see there, upcast the Spirit Guardians that ignores resistance on necrotic is pretty good. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. This was a requested build, so let me know if you have any builds that you would like to see in Baldur's Gate 3. Hit the subscribe button below if you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.